Hey
So
folks, it's Captain Liam here. I just pressed record. I hope you don't mind, Marshall, Zara, and
not at all.
Alex.
All good.
Anyway, folks, we're here with Marshall and
Yeah.
Zara. They're going to be new crew members on board. We're going down the path of onboarding and employment. And Alex, of course, as you know from Yachty World's a huge part of the Unbridled program and helped introduce Marshall and Zara through a Facebook post. So just tell us a bit about your experience there and your time in yachting, Marshall and Zara, and how you kind of came across the Unbridled platform. And are you excited to join? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Flip, we are so excited to join.
We can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, I know it's flipping, yeah, super excited. Yeah, for the yachting, I actually started when I was in I think 2020, but obviously COVID was a little bit of a factor back then, so it was a little bit slow getting into it, but yeah, I did it for about a year, and then I left to just take on videography because that's what I really love doing. And yeah, then I came back last year after I met Zara 2 years ago. She was going to the boats, and I tagged along with her, and then yeah, I've been back at it. But now I wanting to combine my videography stuff with yachting, so I'm super excited about this job, particularly. Obviously, deckhand videographer. It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's a lot, but my job is to make sure we create the balance, and that's where Alex is involved with a wealth of experience in,
Hmm.
videography and marketing in particular. And what about yourself, Zari? You're from both from Cape Town, correct?
Yeah, so I was actually meant to go straight into, or I took a gap year and then afterwards meant to go study law. And on my gap year, I was like, actually, cancel that. I can't be in an office. I love traveling so much. And obviously, yachting was like the easy way to do that.
Not
Um,
the easy, the ultimate experience in order to
Yeah,
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 yeah.
Wow.
And then I got my courses, hopped on a yacht after struggling a little bit, and then I absolutely loved it. And then I met Marshall, and for months I was dropping hints for him to join me. And then finally we did it together last year, and then got our dream job now this year.
yeah.
Lovely. Well, it's
Oh,
good because we found
congrats.
you through Facebook, Alex and I. And Alex, what's your experience with kind of looking for crew? Obviously you're not junior crew, you're experienced crew members and you're professionals. That's why we're employing you. But Alex, what's your kind of insight into it when you kind
Well,
of
let me
heard of
give you a
Marsh and
quick
Zara?
breakdown about me. Also from Cape Town, guys. So yeah, I'm missing home a lot. Living in
Yeah.
Miami now. But I started 2012, started here in Miami. So it's amazing how it just turns full circle. Went through
Yeah.
the whole struggle, so I understand the hustle to get a position. And I've watched the industry evolve over time. Around 2020 was a huge moment in super yachting because I noticed many crew were struggling, and that's when my platform started, really ramping up because a lot of crew were coming my way. I was in Cape Town for a while and helping crew remotely all over the world, and that's online just shut up. Position for content creators on board started to ramp up as well because social media started going crazy. Uh, Yachting started to catch up with the rest of the world. And yeah, I've been looking for crew and helping yachts get quality crew ever since. I knew Blair, who I believe was the original content creator on board Motor Yacht Loon. Interviewed him one day, and he told me how he had a dedicated role to content creation, which blew my mind because that's like a dream position, right?
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now we've got you guys coming in doing the same thing, where I'm sure you're going to have dual roles still, but still mainly focused on content creation. And as a team, I think that's going to be very exciting to build with you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that's the
that's the interesting thing because you're talking about dual roles and content creation, but the expectations of the industry traditionally, everyone's in their role. A deckhand's a deckhand, a stewardess is a stewardess. But the way I look at it is nowadays you must have a second skill, and it's just a
yes.
given. Whether it's carpentry,
What
service, masseuse, barista, whatever it is, you must have a second skill. So how do we make sure? And the reason we're doing these calls and probably making it engaging in social media and here is because we want to make sure that we're transparent, Marshall and Zara. that we
Yeah.
understand the stresses that are involved with joining a boat and also the new roles. And I want to
Yeah.
make sure it's crystal clear any questions you have that we're not overloading crew. So it's not as if you're going to be a deckhand and then in addition, you're going to do videography. Part
Yes.
of
Yes.
your role is videography and we allocate time for it.
Mm.
Like on a
Yeah.
Thursday, we allocate time for it. And same as yourself, Zara. You will be a stewardess on board and part of the team, and part of your role on a Thursday will be creating or editing content that we can use for marketing and building your own branding. So that kind of brings me to branding, Alex.
Hmm.
Why is it? And this is important. The question I had, I know we have three questions each. If we get through them all, I only get through one, but the question I have is about branding. Why is branding now, Alex, so important? And why are yachts doing it ourselves?
But yachts are starting to do it themselves. So a brand is the most important asset in any business. About 60 to 70% of the value of the brand is of the value of a business is the brand. So I'm noticing that personal branding is taking the forefront on social media right now, which is why we encourage you guys to not only develop your personal brand, whether it's a joint one or separate or both, but also have that coexist with Motor Unbridled as well. So figuring out your purpose in this new role as well is highly important. For Zara, you are interior. Marshall, you said that you like to focus on the water sports aspect, which is fantastic because Unbridled is lacking that water sports content. Super excited to see how you can craft something compelling and then create a story and have that attached to Motor Unbridled and just be ambassadors for this whole new venture that we are creating together. So it's continuing to evolve. We've got Stefan as well, who's also started his new brand. So it's not only just for Motor Unbridled, it's for yourselves
Yeah.
and our collective purpose here, which is to, I believe, rise by lifting others on a
Yeah.
continual basis. That's what
Very
Unbridled
well said.
has done, and that's what it means.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
and it's
win at the end of the day. It's everyone's yeah. I mean, we obviously building ourselves our own brand, and we're benefiting from that, and at the same time, Unbridled's benefiting from it all. It's so it's yeah.
Everyone's benefiting
Yeah, it's
together. Do you have experience with any other brands? Have you done any brand deals in the past?
I've done some collabs on Instagram and stuff, and I mean, videography has been my main career for the past, well, before last season, but has been my main career path. And yeah, I've worked a lot in Cape Town.
Mhm.
Um, and it's in the industry, there's a classic saying, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So I think that plays quite a big role in the people that I work with. So I'm lucky enough to know a lot of people because it runs in the family, and my dad's quite has been in it for a long time as well as my brother. So I've been very lucky in that sense. Yeah.
so
Beautiful.
then let me go on to the second question if I don't mind. And when you've got a question, just ask and we'll have an open format. Unbridled is going to sea in the next half an hour. So you'll hear some
Oh, wow.
alarms and you'll hear some things, but we're off
Okay.
to Panama, which is exciting. But you know, what about yourself, Sarah? What are the vulnerabilities? What are the stresses? What are you worried about? And how, as a captain, can I help?
I think
Without
in
having to
like
be
a
too personal.
general
Doesn't have to be too
in a
personal.
okay, yeah, in a like a general stew anything boat related vibe, do you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. In a
Okay,
professional aspect.
yeah. I just think because I worked on a 28-meter boat and then at a villa, so I've never actually worked on like a 58-meter boat with and charter and how it runs and crew, and it's definitely so
Great,
much
nothing for
more
you.
different. So I think that'll definitely be like a big learning aspect. But I'm like very excited for it. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so it's
that's probably
excitement.
made,
It's kind of excitement with a little bit of uncertainty. So what I could offer
yeah,
though is more communication direct with the chief stew to make sure your role is better understood, I guess, like a clear
yeah,
definition of your role.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
excellent. Well, that's cool. I've worked with Sam and I've seen the document and it's an exciting job and Sam's really efficient and she's using a Microsoft to do checklist. So
Oh,
No.
wow.
it's quite. I went there yesterday and I was like, that's
No.
efficient. That's why I love interior departments. They're
I
always the
love
most efficient, you
checklists.
know. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
and
mean, I
you
just
see it live.
just feel like you know,
Yeah.
Nice.
And what
I did
questions
actually
have
want
you
to
got,
ask.
Marshall?
Um, One of my first ones I did want to ask, obviously coming into this role as as a social media manager, or not manager, but it's obviously quite a social media orientated boat. And I wanted to ask, what is Unbridled's social media goals for the foreseeable future? Like, do you have an amount of followers you want to reach, or I know you kind of are hiring us to make this to reach these goals. So I just wanted to ask you
Yeah,
what it is.
really good question. And you know, the hesitancy in asking is also important because it means also that you need clarification exactly your role, which is important
Yeah,
because a
yeah,
lot of people join yachts and all of a sudden they're like, I'm a deckhand, but also I'm doing this. So for you, the skills that stood out in your resume when I got them with Alex on Facebook, I think it was sent which I think is important to realize that people where we get the information is important and how we
yeah,
train through it. But you're a videographer. Like I employ professionals, and the reason you're employed is because of your videography skills in addition to your deck experience. So you have to take the burden of social media
yeah,
um, out of it and any responsibility and accountability out of the equation because it's not your role, if that makes sense.
yeah,
I'm responsible for the outcomes and I'm
yeah,
responsible to
exactly.
create a path
Yes, yeah,
that your job is just to create, I think we discussed one quality edit video style a week. And Alex will walk you
yeah,
through the kind of expectations of what we have. But in terms of goals from the owners, it's charters. We're a charter boat. And the more
Primarily.
people have an insight into Unbridled and the crew, when I ask every broker what's the most important thing on the boat, they always say crew. You know,
Not only brokers, but owners too.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
my job
100%.
to answer your question is to create. My goal is to create a crew that are well balanced, where people understand their roles and don't step on each other so much, and we create this kind of collaboration in ourselves to reach the goal, which includes crew that don't like social media and don't like Instagram, but that's perfect. That creates the
Yeah,
balance that we
Internal
realize.
goals Internal goals would be finding harmony amongst the crew, the brokers, the owners, the rest of
Yes,
the world. Everyone in harmony. That is the goal, and that's not easy to achieve, but
no,
if we have that in mind, we can achieve it. So creating
yeah.
harmony.
To quantify it, four charters we want in Alaska. Right now we
all right.
have zero on the books, and our job as a team, as an unbridled crew, is to get four charters. We have great charter brokers. Sean Lard, Northrop and Johnson. She's the lead. She's the tip of the arrow for us, and she takes all the inquiries. But what we do is we create the noise and the network to say we're available. This is what we can offer, and we're good at what we do, and that's the message. You know.
When ideally are you wanting to get to Alaska, or would you just base it off when
No,
your
probably
first?
May will be there. Yeah, but the owner's got
Okay.
three yachts. So he cruises Alaska every year on one yacht, which is a successful charter
Uh,
program. And check out Zach
mm.
Calder and Yacht Serengeti on Instagram. I think I just shared one of their posts. They're building a beautiful. They've already had a very successful charter platform, but they're now growing into a beautiful marketing machine as well, where you can see all of the crew they're picking have a good, you know, good experience in their roles, plus also good skills in the marketing digital space. So that's something to, we're part of that team, if that makes sense. So the more you kind of look at
Yeah.
them and follow us, we'll see them. We're a team, and that's the way the Glidewell fleet is kind of managed. We do it all in house. If we need something, we call the boats. We need something, we call the office, or do it ourselves.
Nice.
100% nice.
Got a
And what about
question
you,
as well.
Alex?
No, go ahead. Finish your question, Cap.
No, go for it. I was going to ask you. You or Zara, if you had a question.
Okay, I've got a question here for you guys. Each, Marshall, you can go first.
All
What
right.
unique set of skills do you bring to enhance the guest experience?
A unique set of skills. Well, um, obviously, a really nice thing to have after having a child. I'm sure some guests may like it, some may not, but it's always nice to, if you like chartering a boat, obviously really expensive, you want to have like the best experience out of it as possible, and a really nice thing to do is to capture the experience and all aspects. Obviously, don't want to be like too in their face, but
Mm-hmm.
be on the sidelines and get some stuff for them and then by the end of the charter, maybe they wouldn't even realize, but I can just make a little video for them and they'll probably be super happy with it, It'll be a nice memory for them to kind of keep in their bank. So that's something that would be nice to do.
Great. What
Well,
about you,
that's
Zara?
a great fit for us, Alex, because right now we do a video, but it has to be well, it's developing into long form for the guests,
Mhm.
short form landscape, and then also portrait for short form Instagram. So every guest seems to walk away with the three different versions of the content, and that's what's
Mhm.
developed in the industries. Now they're not used to just be put a video up, give a disc back in the day. Then it was put a video up, give a USB. Now for the last kind of 8 to 10 years, it's almost in particular the last 2 years, it's now Captain, could you put that in? So it's you see the trend, and I'm like, okay, long form, short form, horizontal, and landscape. Either personally for their own Instagram, where you just take them and a little story for
Mhm.
them, and if you do that for the 10, 12 guests, they're like, wow, and you can show them how to share it on their socials.
Yeah,
That's where it's
elevate
developing
the
because the market is the children as well, Alex. It's the children who work with their parents and their
I mean, topic.
grandparents to create these memories.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Zara, what about you? Your unique set of skills.
So maybe it's a bit of a different one that not a lot of people would notice, but a big thing that I think of is when I'm around guests and things are like super hectic or there's a lot of pressure or stress, I tend to not take on all that stress and I actually become a lot calmer
Ah,
and more relaxed. So I
Get
feel
that
like,
energy
I
from
mean,
me.
even in my past job, my bosses really liked that about me, that they could never tell that I was stressed and I was always super happy. So I feel like it's not like a very common thing, but it's a good thing to have around guests.
You've got a calming, nurturing energy that I feel
Yeah.
through this video call. So yeah, perfect. That's a
Yeah,
good.
I'm like, sometimes people actually take it like I don't really care and I'm like super chill, but it's actually that I'm just very calm and not stressed a lot of the time.
Yeah,
That can rub off
beautiful.
exactly.
everyone.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
what's
Nice.
what's what's yours, Alex? We have to wrap it up soon because I know engines are tested, thrusters are tested. My chief officers, Eddie, and the team are on it.
Yeah.
But what about you, Alex? What's your unique set
My
of
unique set
skills?
of skills, well, I've been on different sides of the super yachting industry and I've had visions in my mind and I continue to work through that and see it manifest into reality. Like working with Umbrella, something that I was, envisioning and trying to manifest for a very long time. And then Captain Liam comes along. Actually, was a transition period where we met and we met again and we spoke and then yeah. So I
Yeah,
would say is positive mindset, vision, and persistence is what I would say is my
it was
unique
funny.
set of
I read your
skills.
LinkedIn profile last night, Alex.
I haven't updated it in a long time.
I
What did it
verified
say,
you. I
guys?
did something. I pressed some button there in LinkedIn to say you're a nice guy. But yeah, it's
Oh,
been
you
a
did?
special connection because Marshall also Alex worked on Unbridled once back in the day and scrubbed the teak.
Yes,
Oh,
I heard this. It's well, as you say, full circle, eh?
A full circle. So I'm going to
Yeah,
head off. The chief officer's giving me that look like, come on, Cap, stop talking. Let's get
wow.
to work.
yeah,
So, in closing, I think we're going down the right path. Interviews now have to be personal. They have to be more, transparent. I think in industry, especially if we're trying to build a team and people need to get excitement about it.
yeah,
So, in closing, we're kind of excited to move through. I know Alex had a couple other things to go over with you before we kind of go to the final stage, but it's looking like Panama, the 15th of February. Flights
yeah.
are pretty much booked, bags are nearly to be packed. Is there any kind of
Yeah.
final words or closing that you're kind of excited about or want to talk about? Have you got a
Any
name of the
questions?
brand? Have you got a name of what you're thinking? The couples or the.
We asked ChatGPT the other
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
There
good,
was
good,
like
good.
guides and travels. There was
The yachting
yeah,
couple,
but it's
lots
I
of
think they're all
different.
taken anyways. But
Yeah, we'll
we'll
come
have
up
to
with
come up with
Something
something great.
unique. Come up with
yeah.
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Well, it will
We
be
had
good.
we had
yeah.
we had two Canadians on board, and their brand is Toucan. It's two
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Canadians.
great.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in the
that's
sailing business too.
perfect
So
for Panama as well.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. But I was thinking, I don't know, brainstorm. Alex is really good at that type of thing as well. But ChatGPT is a good tool. AI is the future. Believe it or
Yeah,
not, it's the new web per se. Something maybe from Cape
What's
Town
one thing
to.
that binds you guys, you know?
Yeah,
One thing
yeah.
exactly.
that's personal to you,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all
We've
easily
got, what's the date?
recognizable.
We've got 2 weeks to figure it out.
yeah,
You can do it.
You can
we
always
will.
change it as well.
Yeah.
You can always change it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well, I'll
exactly.
save this. I'll save the content and share it, of course, and we'll do what you'd like to do with it. But thank you so much for taking the time. Feel honoured. I've really got to get to see here and do what I do best and drive a ship. But I'm looking forward to it, Marshall and Zara. Alex, thank you as always, my friend. I appreciate it. Congratulations on being a wonderful father, and I can see the positive change
Thank you.
fatherhood has
Oh,
had
thank
on
you.
you.
He
You're
woke me up
glowing,
this
mate. You're
morning.
glowing.
Yeah, no, it's to hear him in the morning is a blessing. Just his
Yeah.
little cry makes me smile.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope we
All
get to
right.
meet him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's Apollo.
Did you
It's
guys want to
Apollo, the
stay
name.
on for Apollo? Yeah, he's got a powerful
Apollo.
name.
No, that's cool.
All right.
Nice.
Well, I'll stop. I'll leave it there, and I'll stop the recording, and you continue on if you'd like to, Alex.
I'd love to get to know you guys a little bit better. Any questions you may have?
Our upcoming itinerary is super exciting. We've just finished a few trips in the Caribbean. Then we're moving over to Costa Rica for a really adventurous trip there, up in the mountains, a lot of diving. And then we sail around to Alaska, where it's a little bit colder, but we are very excited to explore a new part of the world. Not many boats go there, so it is a fantastic opportunity to get on board and explore with us.